video for you. Hey, everybody.
You love it when I hit that button right in the middle of a line, huh?
Oh, man. You know, yeah,
Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
I don't think I can adequately express like how much we care about all of you.
Yes,
like,
we do.
We love that you're here. We love that you're listening to us.
Every single one of you.
Literally.
Yes.
Literally every single one of you. Like, even the people I'm not going to name you, I'm not going to feed the cave people, but those are the citizens against virtually everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you're here. You're very vocal, and thank you for being here. Like,
because you're here every week in every video.
You're here all the time, and I love it. Yeah. Honestly, I love it.
Yeah.
And you know what? We touched on this last week, and I think that like anyone who's watching our little pre's and listening to us during the show and really paying attention understand that there's been a real toll on us with some of the interactions with a handful of people. Mm-hmm. On our Discord on Patreon a while ago, I said a thing, and I want to say it here because I think it's important. And that is that there are a couple of people that have made a lot of the interactions pretty toxic.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of months.
Well, I mean, it started back really somewhere in the middle of season 2, and I'm not sure exactly where.
Like the endish, middle endish, maybe.
And it got really bad through the end of season 2, and it's just kind of continued here through season 3, and you know, you're right. Yeah. Like I don't know that I'd say it's taken a toll on my mental health. Because there's a mental, I take my mental health fairly seriously. I've got my issues there, but it takes a toll on you mentally for sure. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but I love you guys.
I want to say here publicly the thing I said on our Discord, and that is that yes, there's an impact from there, but I am so grateful that you are watching us right now. And I'm so grateful for like the 99.9999% of you that are there that are just literally the most amazing people.
Really are.
Ever.
Really are.
And so I'm going to focus on you, and I'm going to be thankful and grateful for every single one of you. But those of you that are also awesome, God, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks for understanding our journey. This is not, we have struggled now for almost 3 complete seasons. I mean, we're there. We're knocking on the end of the season 3's door. Mm-hmm. And we've struggled to really wrap up in like an elevator pitch of, this is what we mean when we say no spoilers. This is what a rhetorical question is, right? Like, we've had these conversations a lot, and so many of you, we haven't even had to like defend it because you get it.
Yeah.
You just get it.
And so many, even just what is the premise of this show? Like, what are we doing when we do the not a Star Trek thing and looking for the Star Trek message, or the Delta, the Starfury, doing it in a Babylon 5? What does that even really mean? We're making it up as we go.
Yeah, it's whatever we want at the time. We do the thing that JMS does quite a bit, and we fit our thing to the plot that's necessary.
Yeah, right, right. But you know what I love? And the people who have picked up on this, it does my heart well. I, as an artist, a creator, I love when people understand what I'm going for. And it kind of hurts your soul a little bit when people don't, but you also understand that that's a part of it. And you got to put your big boy pants on, and people will accept art however they accept it. But when I don't think either you or I set out with this show with a plan of like, all right, here's how the arc of the podcast is going to go. Yeah. But you and I have definitely noticed that the podcast itself, just as the show is doing this sort of an arc, our podcast is doing an arc. And we've had conversations about how how things are going to change in the future and things like that. And I'm really kind of excited for if that becomes a thing. Mm-hmm. You know, like, it's stuff's just percolating right now, folks. There's nothing set in stone. But like, I'm excited for how our journeys are honestly kind of weirdly mimicking the journey of the show.
In a weird way. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you. I reiterate everything Jeff said. Thank you to everyone out there who is watching, particularly to the 99.9% of you guys that are awesome. And
the ivory soap of awesomeness.
Yes. Yes.
Right. If you get that reference, you're in our age group.
Yes.
So.
And you know who else deserves a particular shout out, Jeff?
Who's that?
Our patrons.
Oh my gosh.
And
heck yes.
Those people who are that's like a core of the core The folks that are in Discord that we get to chit chat with all the time, the folks that on our full videos and things like that we edit up for YouTube, but we put the full one over there, the comments and stuff, that those folks. And what's fun is to kind of see that army of people come into the YouTube world. And
Right.
like, you know, what's great is we know that they have our back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that means a lot, knowing that there are people out there that just have your back. So thank you to you guys as well, especially. But Jeff, what are we doing today? We're talking about an episode.
We are.
Episode 20. We're 2 episodes away from the season finale.
Right there.
Let's get to it. We are recording our podcast here on one of the weirdest titles. I've got to think of probably what is the whole series. And The Rock cried out, comma, no hiding place. I understand what it means now, but I sure didn't then. This is our behind the scenes recording. We're doing the audio podcast. You guys are watching how we make the show, and you'll catch all the bloopers, all the outtakes, all the laugh reels, the pauses that are part of audio production and all that sort of stuff. So you guys do that. Please like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Comment down below, and we will at least read them. We try to respond. We will at least read them. And honestly, more, you know what? Forget us. You guys are having amazing conversations down there.
Totally.
Y'all just talk to each other. Talk amongst yourselves. It's cool.
We'll give you a topic.
Yeah.
Babylon 5.
Right.
Go.
Here's what Brent and Jeff said. Go. Talk about all the stuff we, got right and dismissed, and have fun with it. Jeff, hit that sweet magic button over there, buddy. Let's get to talking about this one.
First time.
You're new here, aren't you?
Someday, somewhere, I'll make a difference.
It's a mockery.
I mean, we're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
The year is 2023. The name of the podcast, Babylon 5, for the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time. Not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I'm watching Babylon 5 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm also watching Babylon 5 for the first time. Not the second time, not the third time, not the fourth time. It's the first time. The first time Jeff and I have ever seen this show. We are 2 veteran Star Trek podcasters who are watching the show for the very first time, taking that analytical lens we've gained as Star Trek podcasters and applying it right here to this show, looking for all those messages, ideas, and hope for the future and where we are going to go from here, and trying to decide just how much we like this series.
Which frankly is a lot, by the way. Just to clear up any confusion, it's a lot that we like this series. But like Brent said, we're Star Trek podcasters. We're veteran Star Trek podcasters.
Are we Babylon 5 podcasters yet?
Yeah, we had this conversation a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna
we're
keep
still
having
Babylon 5 podcasters.
We are? Okay.
We have 2 more seasons.
Yep.
And a couple movies before we're veteran Babylon 5 podcasters, though.
Oh, that's what we said. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we're close.
Yeah.
Over halfway there.
There we go.
I think Bon Jovi had something to say about that. Let that linger. But as veteran Star Trek podcasters, we are sure to bring in some of those references. And to sort of keep us focused on Babylon 5, we play the rule of 3. It's a game where each of us get only 3 references to Star Trek apiece.
That's it. 3. Uno, dos, tres. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
Hey, Brent.
Hey, Jeff.
We have a 5-star review.
Oh, yes.
This one's over on Audible.
Whoa.
And
shout out Audible.
And on Audible, a very unique username, Amazon customer, says, they said, excellent. I've never seen the Babylon 5 spin-off Crusade, and I'd like to watch that with what you do for Babylon 5. But you can't start that yet, unfortunately, as it would be a spoiler for plot lines. I guess I'll have to wait.
Jeff, are we going to do Crusade?
We haven't talked about that.
Because we signed up for 110 episodes of Babylon 5, and I think for 5 movies.
I think 5, yeah.
But
And we've done one of them. We did The Gathering.
Oh, that was one? Oh, okay.
I think so.
So we've signed up for those, but I don't think we signed up for, like, because there's Crusade, and isn't it like the Lost series or something like that?
Something. Is it? Can you even watch it? Is
I
that
don't
even
know.
a thing we can do?
I don't know.
I bought the DVDs way back. And I've been using those for my reaction videos over on our Patreon, but I didn't get any. And the movies came with that, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But I don't get Crusade or anything.
So. Are those like official JMS canon stories? I don't know.
The Crusade?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I've seen it pop up and stuff. I don't know anything about it. And please don't tell us about it.
You can tell us
Amazon
if it's JMS canon or not.
Yeah.
I will take that information.
That's fair. Yeah. Amazon customer just told us it would be spoilery, and I have a pretty too much of a trusting relationship with Amazon customer, I think. Almost unhealthy.
It's almost like you're looking in a mirror sometimes there, Jeff.
It's weird.
I'm not saying you wrote the thing.
I was just saying, also, I did not write this.
Right.
I don't know what Crusade is, so please don't put this on me.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Yeah, like where does it even fit in the... we have so many questions that aren't relevant to this episode at all. So, hey, you know what we should do? We should read another 5-star review.
Oh, yes.
Also on Audible. This one actually on Audible UK. So this is from the United Kingdom.
Shout out United Kingdom folk.
Lena H says, exactly what I didn't know I needed right now. Sci-fi is best whenever it asks me questions about now, back then, further on, by expertly analyzing that nearly forgotten star, Babylon 5. These two dudes are providing me a torch to shine on my daily choices. Learning by being fed protocols is always a useless lesson. The only efficient teacher is the honest question mark. This is exactly what this show brings me. Respectful questions if things really can't be seen the opposite way. I encourage everyone, not only the space happy, to hear this show. It will be good food for thought, probiotics for your soul, and very good entertainment as well.
Well, you know, they say the best medicine is laughter. And you know what the best kind of laughter is? Is a good belly laugh, a good laugh from the gut. And you want to make sure that you have good gut health when you're laughing from the gut. And this is sort of run off the rails, but hey, that's awesome. I couldn't help but think though, Lena H from the UK. Now I know I know of a Lena H from the UK, and I'm wondering if this is the same person, because there is a British actress named Lena Headey.
Okay.
Who? You don't know who this is?
I probably know.
Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Really? Okay.
So I don't listen. In my head canon, Cersei is listening to our. Lena is listening to. She also played. I forget the character name, but it was dude's wife in 300.
Oh my God, I haven't watched it. That's a great film.
Yeah, it's her. And she's been in quite a few things that are really good. She's a great actress, really is.
And we're part of her soul's gut health.
I love it.
That's pretty, we've been called a lot of things in our time here. We've been called insightful,
entertaining,
yes. Entertaining.
Yes.
Endearing. Mucus-covered chuckle nuggets.
Probably my favorite.
And now probiotics for the soul.
I love it. Probiotics.
I love it.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Babylon 5 for the first time. Probiotics for the soul.
Yeah.
I love it.
The probiotics for the soul you never even knew you needed.
Right?
Here we are.
That is one of the most perfect like images that explain. It's like a probiotic for the soul. I love it.
Yeah. That's good. But listen, we got those off of Audible. We often read reviews off of Apple, but we are quickly approaching our season 3 wrap up for this show. And just like in the first season, where we gave away an incredible 3D printed model of Babylon 5, the second season, where we gave away a John Sheridan action figure, This time in the Season 3 wrap-up, we're going back to our good friend Wash, who created the Babylon 5 station and also created these Starfuries. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, Brent is showing that bad boy off. Incredible detail, made with love and care. I mean, Wash really put some... Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Looks so good.
It does, doesn't it? Look at that. There's fins and flaps and gun blaster cannon turrets and awesome looking cockpit. The only way this would have been better is if you actually had a character in the cockpit, but that probably would have been a little more high end on the 3D printing side than anything. But I mean, look at the detail on this thing, man. It's just incredible for a little model like this.
And as Star Trek podcasters, we understand made-up sci-fi technology, and we have this cool tool where we can actually take that Starfury that's on the screen right now, and we can put that on your desk at home. And all you have to do for an opportunity for that is leave us a review, and you're in. If you've left us a review in the past, awesome. If you do it again, or in the future, or literally right now, you're in. And if you want to, well, maybe not necessarily better your odds, but if you want to make sure that we're aware you entered, you screenshot that bad boy. You tag us on Twitter with the image at Babylon First, or you email it to us at babylon5first@gmail.com. And cool news, there's not just one we're giving away. We're giving away two. So you got double the chances to get a sweet Starfury made by Wash.
Jeff, you know what else is sweet?
What's that?
The games that we play here on Babylon 5 for the first time. We play the Rule of Three, which was probably the first game we instituted on this show. Another game.
I think that's immediate feedback we got when we had our show tested by our friends.
Right.
You need a limit on your Star Trek references, guys.
Right. So we had that one. But another one we do is we get to the end, and a lot of people quote this as like their favorite thing of the show is listening to you and I make predictions that are either wildly accurate or hilariously wrong. And this is the part of the show where we revisit last week when we predicted what this week's episode was going to be about, and we just see how accurate or how wildly wrong we were. Jeff, do you remember what you said and the rock cried out no hiding place was going to be about?
So I thought that we were going to see Brother Theo and his crew again, and we did get to see Brother Theo again. I thought, though, that they were going to be trying to search out the names of Jaquan and the different Narn deities, and that would lead them down a path of learning that Londo is responsible for everything, and they were going to go kind of hold him accountable for his atrocities. There was Brother Theo and his stuff. There was G'Kar, there was Londo and his atrocities, but not quite mixed together in the way that I had predicted. Brent, what did you guess?
No.
Nope.
I need some honest time from you here, Jeff.
Oh.
Did you see a thumbnail that showed Brother Theo?
I saw nothing on this.
Did you? Because that was a serious pull. And maybe I'm starting to rub off on you over here. Maybe you're starting to get some of my psi powers, but I was impressed with just the fact that Brother Theo popped up on screen as a part of this episode. I'm giving you full credit.
So full disclosure, The Rock is what drew me there, and I talked about that last week.
Sure.
As a Catholic, and as a Christian, we talk,
Yep.
the Rock of the Church, but also that's a for real legit gospel tune. And so, I mean, to me, it was just like, all right, this is going to be a religious thing. We have talked a lot this season about just like the Catholic themes that JMS has brought in. And then it hit me. I'm like, it's been like since the third episode of this season that we've seen Brother Theo. It's time to, we've tied off so many threads in here, and those monks have just been kind of hanging out there. So to me, it just made sense that we were going to do something with it.
Guess what? By the end of this episode, while the pastor, the rabbi, and the monk might not be there anymore, Brother Theo and his guys are still hanging out. So
yep, crunching their numbers. What did you think this one was going to?
Well, I actually kind of went off of what you said. I pulled in this was going to be a WWE wrestler coming onto the station. Might or might not have actually been The Rock. But this was what was going on in the mid-90s. Like, this was the sort of stuff people were using, trying to bring in viewers. And, I'm sure JMS would have absolutely caved to the studio's pressure to bring in some pop person. At least he wasn't going to put a pop band down in the Zocalo every week, but I was thinking he was going to come on the station like a hunter searching for somebody, saying there's no place you can hide, because let's be honest. And The Rock cried out, "No hiding place." That sounds like this episode had two separate titles and they just couldn't figure out which one to go with. So they threw them together.
And it literally sounds like something The Rock would have said in like 1998. So it's a little bit off.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't Deep Space Nine that stole from Babylon 5. It was WWE.
Oh.
Not only did they steal this phrase, The Rock, they stole their initials, War Without End.
There you go.
There's your conspiracy people. You want to go after somebody, JMS. Listen, I know you're watching. You won't let anybody know, but I know you're right now, you're going back in time. You're doing the rewrites for us. Thank you for that. But you need to go after WWE.
Yeah, get them to change their name back to WWF.
Yeah, seriously.
Which is what it should be.
It's what it always has been. But listen, if you are listening to us talk about this episode and you're like, Brother Theo, what? The Rock, huh? Whatever, you haven't watched this one in 30 some odd years, or you've never watched it before at all, and you're just listening along with us, which, welcome to the ride. Brent, will you remind everyone what And The Rock Says No Hiding Place is all about?
Well, hey, Jeff, you know what I think?
What's that?
I think episodes that start with Ivanova voiceovers are pretty cool, man. And that should bode well for this particular episode. Basically, she's just telling us that the war with the shadows is really starting to take its toll on the station. I mean, just take a look at Sheridan. No, like literally, take a look at Sheridan. Jeff, exactly how long has it been since our last episode?
I don't know.
And exactly how fast does Sheridan's hair grow? Because that man is looking shaggy.
Unsat.
Shaggy. He hasn't shaved in a few days, or at least according to Brent's facial hair timeline, it's been a few days. He's got bags under his eyes. He's got a super swank new captain's cloak that suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and it's not even season 5 yet. And aside from apparently not sleeping, he's barely left the war room. Dr. Franklin, he's still out on walkabout, even though the last time we saw him, it was more of a curled up in a dark corner about. G'Kar has his panties in a knot about something, but hey, at least there's Brother Theo and all his monk friends. They're annoying one moment and super comforting the next. And as for Londo, well, he's busy down in his evil lair planning and plotting his next move. And that move is, it's time to take out G'Kar. And Veer is going to help him do it. You see, Londo is going to send Veer to G'Kar with some false information about Natoth. Hey, remember her? That Natoth was found alive in a prison camp or something like that back on the Narn homeworld. And that's going to get G'Kar to try to sneak back to the homeworld where there's an open warrant waiting for him. And as soon as he turns up, Londo and his men are going to be there waiting to arrest him and execute him. Well, as Veer sulks off to go do this thing that he clearly doesn't want to go do, some new people are coming aboard the station. Now, Jeff, stop me if you've heard this one before. There's a priest, a rabbi, and a Buddhist monk, and also a Baptist pastor, but that doesn't just roll off the tongue that easy. There's a whole lot of friendly banter back and forth between them, and they brought, and by brought, I mean they smuggled news from Earth out to Babylon 5. Why did they have to smuggle news, you may ask? Well, because Ivanova really wants to know what people are saying about her back home, and that's very top secret. But that's not what's important. What's really important is that along with the pastor, the rabbi, and the monk, someone else has come aboard the station, Lord Rifa, and he's brought along one of the new ministers. No word on exactly how prime this particular minister is, but his name is Verini. Now, Rifa has brought Verini to the station to show him just how awful Londo is, so that Verini will throw his support behind Rifa, so he basically could just be a whole lot cooler at the royal court. But Verini really just wants to end the infighting between Londo and House Mollari and Rifa and House Rifa. It's not good for the Centauri to have two of the oldest houses warring against each other. Now, Londo, during his one-on-one with Minister Verini, promises that he is going to prove to him the value of House Mollari. He has a plan, you see. Obviously the one, dealing with G'Kar. A plan to root out a plague that has been eating away at the Emperor. One that has been an embarrassment to the Centauri people, and it's going to be dealt with, and it's going to be put to death. Now, Vir can't believe his ears. He's being used by Londo to commit this heinous action against G'Kar just so Londo can curry more favor with the royal court? It's outrageous, I tell you. Outrageous! Well, Londo's plan works. G'Kar has taken the bait and is on his way back to the Narn homeworld. On Babylon 5, Rifa's men kidnap Vir and force Vir to tell them what Londo is up to. Except Vir doesn't break. So Rifa uses a telepath to take the information out of Vir's head and imprint the idea that there are 5 lights up there on the wall. So by the end of it, Rifa knows exactly where G'Kar is going, and he surmises that Londo can't get to G'Kar if Rifa gets to him first. Well, while they're flying out to Narn, let's go check in with Sheridan. See, he's finally left the war room, but he's just sort of sitting alone in a dark corner when Pastor Dexter walks in, and he encourages Sheridan to share the load. You see, at first he was rather annoying, but then he kind of became rather comforting. It's odd how that worked out. And so Sheridan takes his advice, and he does confide in Delenn. And wouldn't you know it, before you can say shadow ships, together they've figured out exactly what the shadows are up to. Well, we're going to table what they're going to do with that information for now, but Delenn has something she wants to show Sheridan. Don't worry, folks, this is still family friendly. So they pack up on the White Star and they head out. Well, that should give us just enough time to catch up with G'Kar, who's got a whole gang of Narn with him out on the Narn homeworld, and they're moving through the tunnels on their way to rescue Natoth. When wouldn't you know it, Rifa and an entire host of guards corner them. Rifa gloats and begins to monologue, but not so fast. G'Kar pulls out a holo projector, and it's a recorded message from, wait for it, Londo Mollari. Hey, you see all those guards around here? Well, turns out they're actually loyal to House Mollari, so they're going to disappear real quick and leave Rifa alone with G'Kar and the Narn. Londo has also provided G'Kar with all the evidence that he's going to need to know that it was Rifa who planned the attack on the Narn homeworld, that it was Rifa who was responsible for the Narn genetic cleansing programs, that it was Rifa who is the catalyst for all the Narn troubles out there. The Narn are going to kill you, Rifa, and you're going to be labeled a traitor, and your entire house is going to become a non-factor in Centauri life. And that's exactly what happens. And while that's happening, we keep cutting back to the station where Pastor Dexter is delivering the Star Trekkiest of all Baptist messages, and a gospel singer begins to sing the title of the episode, I ran to the rock to hide, and the rock cried out, no hiding place for you. All while Rifa was literally trying to run away and hide behind a rock from the Narn. Now back on Babylon 5, Vir is doubly peeved at Londo for using him in this entire elaborate ruse from the very first part of the episode. Londo tries to brush it off, and of course he couldn't tell Vir the truth because Rifa had that telepath, and if he would have known, then it would have given the whole game away. But Vir doesn't seem to buy it, and he's not taking this one lightly. I'm sure we're going to come back to that one in a future episode. And just one more thing of note. Remember when Delenn wanted to show Sheridan something? Well, yeah, they've now arrived at an unknown spot out in space somewhere. Delenn says, "Hey, Sheridan, do you like the White Star?" And Sheridan's like, "Yeah, she's awesome." And Delenn's like, "Well, look out the window." And Sheridan's like, "Whoa." Because out in space is an entire fleet of White Star ships, which are now at his disposal. And in the final moments of the episode, Jeff gets his wish because Sheridan and Delenn share their first kiss. Or is it their second? I don't know. Time travel gives me a headache. Jeff, how about you, my friend? Do you have a headache from this episode?
Do you remember in the first season, the episode By Any Means Necessary?
I do.
So it had the Union strike, and it had the Jaquan Eth stuff, and Sinclair trying to solve it had Londo, and
it had one of my favorite endings of season 1. The way that Sinclair just came in and ninja'd that whole situation. Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Yeah,
but I remember when we talked about that one, I said there was something about it. I didn't know if it was the lighting. I didn't know if it was what, but it just felt uncomfortable to me somehow. Like it was just something didn't feel right about it. And that was this episode to me. There's not a thing I can put my finger on, but it just didn't feel right somehow. Now, that doesn't mean I didn't like it. It was just a weird feeling. But as a little note, I went back and I looked at the credits. I compared the credits between the two. Both episodes were edited by the same person.
Oh, well.
So maybe it's something in the editing or something that just rubbed me the wrong way. But oh my gosh, Brent, dusting off an old one for me. Holy Ambassador Malari. I mean, retribution, revenge, manipulation, and a well-earned romance, right? This thing has slow played and came to fruition. I kind of dug the whole religious leaders thing coming on. And honestly, using them, we learned that in the future, non-Judeo-Christian religious leaders won't earn speaking parts in television. They're just there to be introduced politely. It's just fine. But I thought it was cool how they used them to smuggle information from Earth, because that was what happened in World War II, World War I, in massive conflicts. Clerics and religious personnel would, under the guise of their church work and arguably as part of their church work, would smuggle information back and forth across enemy lines. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I do want to apologize to any Catholic, all 2 other Catholics out there that are, besides me, that are listening. Because last week I talked about all the Catholic stuff that JMS has been using this season. And, you know, Brent and I, we are influencing the writing of this show in real time. Like, we're talking about it now, and through the space-time continuum, JMS is hearing us and is writing the show based on our input.
I like to think he's hearing, like, it's an echo that he doesn't know where it's coming from or what's happening. We just know that it has to do with the way that time loops back on itself and twists and turns, and yeah.
It's just an influence that we have a slight pressure.
Yes.
Just moving things forward.
Yes.
And I think the slight pressure from my statement last week caused him to overcorrect, and he made Theo and kind of Catholicism the butt of all the jokes in this one. So sorry for that. But I thought that this was a cool, not only cool like callback to real life, real world use of religious leaders, but also a cool callback to Parliament of Dreams.
Yeah.
You know, hey, here's the religious leaders from Earth. There's a boatload of us. But dude, Londo, man, like, we'll talk about it, but like, sure, he saved 2,000 Narns. That's great. But there's no way you can call Londo Malari a hero. Like, he is an evil, manipulative person. And wow, what he did in this one was wild. Last thought is, do you remember, I remember this really well, but when you and I recorded for your Star Trek podcast, Beam Me Up, a Star Trek podcast, we recorded the charting the course for the 5th season of Voyager.
I do.
I remember that. It was great. That in a big way led to this. But we talked about how cool it was that they addressed the stress and the impacts to the mental health of the crew in the journey. Like they had the episode Night and things like that, God.
Yeah, season 5 for Voyager. I remember saying, I don't think the show writers intended for this to be. But season 5 very much was a study in mental health from the first episode to the last episode. And if you take those 2 episodes and butt them right up against each other, in the first one, you have Janeway questioning whether or not she made the right choice and dealing with that. And then the final episode, seeing what would have happened had she made the other choice, with an example of somebody else who did make the other choice and getting to say, no, my choice was actually the right one the whole time. It was a neat little bookend. Again, I don't think the writers intended for it to be there, but the whole season, like everybody in that season got like effectively a mental health episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And in this one, we got that for Sheridan.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that they were able to, I think that's the thing that a lot of TV at the time would shy away from, you know, of taking its hero and showing their flaws. And I like the way they did it in this. I mean, there's a lot of stereotypical stuff. I think Delenn fell into some kind of traditional female partner in a relationship roles. Like some gender stereotypical stuff that came from her. And then the Baptist guy coming in and being like, dude, come on. Like, here's this metaphor that doesn't really hold up until it does hold up, and it's amazing. And dust yourself off, dude. Get up. Like, you've got great people around you. That was good. That was really good. This episode set me up, though, really well. I am excited for the last 2 episodes. Like, this really showed like the lengths of that's stupid to say. Babylon 5's been showing us this for 3 seasons, but this one really showed us like the lengths they're willing to go to. And so I am primed and ready. What about you?
Jeff, this is an episode that I don't want to like. You said it best though. Something is off about this episode. Something just doesn't feel right about this episode. But in all honesty, I liked this episode. I liked how Londo pulled the wool over everyone's eyes, including mine. And I did watch this one multiple times. When you go back and you watch this episode a second time, it's all there from the beginning. There is nothing underhanded about the way that this episode was written. From what Londo says at the beginning, the way he is leading Veer down a certain path, and you understand why he has to lead him that way, because of what goes on with the telepath later, and you can't have Veer knowing what's actually happening. And, you know, it all holds up to the talk that Londo is having with Minister Verini of saying, hey, listen, I'm going to go root out this plague, and and you think he's talking about G'Kar, but then you go back, you know what it really is, and he's talking about Rifa the whole time. It's a beautifully written subplot down to, you know, hey, I'm going to pop him up on this holo projector and here he is. And I think this might be the first time we've seen that type of a special effect in Babylon 5, which was so well done. There's a moment when Londo's hand like goes right through, like the holo projector goes through Rifa's face and he freaks out. Like it was flinched. It was so well done. But I loved that part of this episode. I loved how they were cutting between the 2 scenes of the pastor and his message and the gospel song back on the station, with mixing it with what was happening down in the cave. And those 2 things worked hand in hand. I mentioned last week with Grey 17 is missing that I wasn't sure if there was some sort of metaphor for what Garibaldi was doing down in Grey 17 with the monster and with Jeremiah versus how that went with the other plot of the episode. But I know for a fact that's what he meant to do here with this one. Like it was so clear.
Pretty clear.
Yeah, it was absolutely clear. So, and I loved it. You sort of poo-pooed a little bit, but I loved the talk between Pastor Dexter and Sheridan in the dark of his office.
Oh, I loved it too. Like I'm saying, like it starts out as this whole thing, like, really, dude, come on. Like, really? But as it progresses, you're like, this is awesome. Yeah. Like I love what he's saying.
And you know, and like there's this one part where Sheridan's like, okay, I need you to leave now. And he gets up to go, but then he stops. He's like, you know, here's this one little story from my life. Now, I'm not telling you to do anything. It's just a little story from my life. It was just nice to share the load. And then he turns on and walks away.
Let me show you this little thing I learned in pastor school.
Right.
Just a little.
Right. I mean, it was so well done. And I loved that. And I love when you get good counsel from someone. It was very reminiscent to me of Rabbi Koslov from TKO, which 2 weeks in a row, we've now referenced TKO. But
every week, really.
But I love it. But all of that said, Jeff, I still can't explain it. There's just something about this episode that I can't put my finger on that makes me go, I didn't like this episode. But the truth is, I did.
Yeah. You know, one thing I think really made this episode work?
What's that?
And I hope my guess is right, and I hope that it continues the way I think it will.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of the first episodes that has actually marked time. And it marked time with a Z minus 14 days.
Right.
Z minus 13 days. And so it went over a couple of days.
Is Z Zahadum?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's like the countdown to Zahadum. We know that's the name of the finale. We know that's where we're heading. And so it's like we're counting down, and it created this tension for me that as I'm talking about it, I remembered fondly, but I'm wondering if it created a tension that kind of put us in an unrest point. Because like when I think about it, like we both felt there was something weird and off with it. My kind of final opening thought on it was, I can't wait for the next episodes. I wonder if the intent is to create that kind of cognitive dissonance of, I want to watch this episode and see what's happening, but also I need to get to the end of this season and close this chapter.
And if that is intentionally done on the part of the writer,
wow,
well done.
Yeah,
well done.
Hooray.
If it's unintentionally done on your part, then you walked right into it, pal, and good job.
Yeah, lean in.
Yeah, right. But I mean, there was so much great writing. Ivanova says at the beginning, talking about Brother Theo, in one moment he can be comforting, or in one moment he can be annoying, and the next moment he can be comforting. And then they run off that. But to apply that line to Pastor Dexter talking to Sheridan, he's kind of annoying at first.
Yeah.
And then he turns real comforting. And it just worked. And, you know, to speak of those three, the rabbi, the priest, and the pastor, and the monk, the fact that they were all friends, but they were kind of poking fun at each other, they're all sharing in this mission. Like despite the seeming animosity between them, there definitely is a friendship. And you know what it really reminded me of? It reminded me of the relationship between the pastor and the rabbi on Gilmore Girls.
Wow, that's a great one.
This might be my first Gilmore Girls reference in 3 seasons, and that's a shame because I love that show, and I'm not ashamed of it. Well, Jeff, we can never do Gilmore Girls for the first time, but maybe we can do it for the 47th time.
We totally can. Yeah, sorry, wheels are spinning.
Two middle-aged white dudes talking about Gilmore Girls. Yeah,
hey, you know what? Before we went on mic with our YouTube crowd, we talked about a handful of people in our YouTube community that have been not on their best behavior for like 3 seasons.
Just like a season and a half, but still.
You want to really stir that pot? Let's have us do a Gilmore Girls podcast. How do you get a bunch of US women to come together on a common cause?
Listen. Here's the only thing I'm gonna say. Look, if you guys are out there listening, please drop down in the comments. Team Dean, Team Jeff, or Team Logan. I'm Team Logan all the way.
I'm Team Logan too.
Team Logan all the way, by the way.
He's great.
Yeah. I'm Team Logan all the way. But anyway, hey, Eric Avari is in this episode. He plays the rabbi. Eric Avari.
I know he's in Stargate. I don't know Stargate. I know he's in the movie. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, he is probably the most versatile ethnic actor ever. I've seen him as an Egyptian. I've seen him as an Arabian. I've seen him as a Jew. I've seen him as an Englishman. I've seen him as a Frenchman. I've probably seen him as any other whatever men you can imagine out there. You've seen him as a
Bajoran Vedic,
right? Yeah, this man can play any ethnic role you want, maybe with the exception of an Eastern Asian ethnicity, and he might be able to pull that off too.
I wouldn't sell him short on
it.
One, he has a look, but he's an incredible actor.
He is. This man is. I don't know that he's ever had a starring role like this is his show, but the man has been in everything and everywhere. And every time he pops up, you're like, I kind of like this guy.
Yeah. I loaded him up on IMDb and it crashed my computer. Just like,
right?
It's too much. I don't know. I can't keep track.
Right. So yeah, that's the Pastors, I guess.
Yeah, they got a couple digs in on Theo that I didn't like a lot. Dexter wanted to do a what did he call it? A church meeting, I think he called it, or something. I don't know what you Protestant people call things. I don't know, like whatever.
Service.
But a service, okay.
Service. Yeah.
But he's like, maybe they would want that instead of that boring, whatever. Like he just like, it's that stupid boring Catholic mass with Theo right there. I'm just like, wow.
Dude, he's just digging on him, man. He's just digging on him. It's fine. He couldn't do that if they didn't have an actual like positive relationship on some level.
Yeah.
Like
it was good. I'm curious what is on the data crystals. Like what news are they going to get?
Why did you have to why are you having trouble getting, like, I get, okay, they're blocking the feed or whatever. We have to smuggle news?
Mm-hmm. That's a real thing. Like in war, I know in World War II specifically, like a lot of it's propaganda tools they'll use, but also like Allied forces would go behind like the French line and they would get planes and they would just drop pamphlets with news from Allied forces, newspapers and stuff, not even propaganda, because that helps keep them connected to what's going on.
If they were bringing news of the resistance, which they mentioned the resistance, I get that because you're not hearing about that in any other way. And Earth is not wanting to let that information get out.
Yeah.
But like on some level, it just seemed to be like hey, so who won the World Series this year? And it was like, why are you trying to smuggle that information out? Like,
but that stuff matters, that stuff matters.
But you don't have to smuggle. I mean, is there somebody at Earth, the Earth departure gate saying, now don't you take the World Series scores out there? Like
maybe. Look, you shared last week, you lived in South Korea.
It's true.
For 4 years you were there?
3, yeah.
3 years?
Yeah.
You were right next door, but you didn't go in or out of North Korea.
I did.
Did you go in and out of North Korea?
Not all the time. I went once.
Okay. But once. I bet they searched stuff. I bet they were really curious about what you were bringing in or taking out.
That all happened well before we got to that point of the line. Like there was, there was protocol for that. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's protocol in and out of Earth at this point. I mean, God, I go up and down to Canada.
Yeah.
And they dig through my stuff, and ask questions about things. So, I mean, yeah, I totally buy. They wouldn't want the scores to get out. It's ridiculous, but
we should have a wall between us and Canada just to keep people out.
Just keep us out.
Keep us out.
Go
of
ruin them. Place.
I've always said the United States just needs to annex. Like, I don't want all of Canada, just like the first 100 miles,
right?
Like, which is where everybody lives. Like,
just snag like Toronto and below.
Yeah, give me Calgary. I want Calgary. That's a great place. Shout out, by the way, to all my Canadian friends. It was just a joke. By the way,
I love Canada.
Oh my gosh, if you ever get to go spend Canada Day in Canada, it's their what we would call 4th of July. It's their Independence Day, right? If you can do that in Canada, I was in British Columbia one time. I think it was Vancouver is where we were on Canada Day. Those people put Americans to shame when it comes to celebrating the independence of their country.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
That's cool.
We're going to barbecue. We're going to have some hot dogs. We'll shoot off some fireworks. That's our 4th of July. Go swim in the pool. No. These people are partying hard. And it's so fun.
Love Canada. You referenced Canada last week. Brought up Bret the Hitman Hart, right?
Also from Calgary, Alberta.
Here. Yep. I got right here from Toronto on my shirt rush. In fact, the first time I tried to finagle my way to Toronto is just because their airplane code is YYZ, which is track 4, the instrumental on Moving Pictures, which is great, which was literally written to replicate the feeling that the band got when they were flying into Toronto.
Speaking of Canadian bands, my favorite Canadian band right now, Dorina Harvey Band. Highly recommend them. Highly recommend. They're so fun. So fun. Anyway, go ahead. This is not our Canadian music podcast. This is a Babylon 5 podcast. Let's go.
But it's a great pivot into one of the like the cap on the kind of religious people's story was the Reverend, doing his sermon and then singing the gospel tune. We'll talk about the juxtaposition of that in the scene, but I just got to tell you, it was so cool to see Delenn and Sheridan, Lanier, even the rabbi dude, all dancing, singing, clapping along.
Sheridan and Lanier specifically, though, like being real awkward and not like Sheridan couldn't keep a beat to save his life.
And he's like looking at the book, all like, we've all seen that person.
Okay, here's what I want to know. Bruce, I know you watch our show. Was that you acting, or in real life, can you just not keep a beat? I got to know.
It's fine. Either way, it's cool.
I just want to know how much of that was Bruce and how much of that was John Sheridan.
I can imagine that when that aired, and even when people watch it now, there's a level of like, Rabbi wouldn't dance and sing gospel music or whatever. But I also think like, he would be very respectful of it, because that's what we've watched this whole episode is like, there's this fraternity amongst them, and he's not necessarily. I mean, I think that the passage that this is from in the gospel song is based on a passage in Revelation, but so that is not Jewish at all. But like, he's not going to be like sitting there like, I don't believe in your Messiah. Yeah. He's like, yeah, cool. We're being cool, and I'm going to be a part of that. I loved that scene.
I will say this, and this was my biggest thought about the song, outside of the, hey, look, that's actually what Reefa's doing. She's singing about Reefa right now. My biggest thought was, this is such a better song than the one that chick sung in the bar with Franklin a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
It's such a better song. I buy this one. I didn't buy that one.
You know what I liked about it too? Because a lot of times in TV shows, you'll have the person singing, who's up there, but they have the whole backing band in the audio track behind them. And you're like, there's no instruments here at all. It was her, a piano, and the congregation. Yeah. Like that was it. She sounded great.
Rocking.
And it was rock. Yeah, it was rocking. It was like, God, this is good. This is good. So let's talk about Delenn, who gets introduced to us, calling Sheridan grouchy.
Cranky.
Crotchety.
She had to look up one word to find out what the other word meant, and then had to look up a new word to find out what that word meant. And that's why English doesn't make sense. And I said, amen, sister.
Yeah, agreed. That nugget made that whole, I'm going to say it, that whole painfully long scene worthwhile. Because I didn't care for that interaction between them at all.
I didn't mind it. It felt in line with where we've seen their relationship go over the last couple of episodes. It's a much more familiar relationship now. What I loved about it was, here's Sheridan being Mr. Cranky, Mr. Whatever. And she just comes in, and you said it earlier, like she really assumed a much more, stereotypical female role in a relationship.
Yeah, I'm girlfriend. And I'm going to be girlfriend.
Right, but here's the thing. I think that's okay given where they are.
Yeah.
And like I kind of liked seeing her being able to turn his head, because I got to tell you, Jeff, I don't know about you, but I'm just peaches and cream to live with all the time.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And like there is no one else in this world that when I'm a little crotchety, there is no one else other than my wife who can look me in my face and just real sweetly, calmly, and quietly, she's not yelling at me, just go, you're off today. You're going to come do this and we're going to go have fun. And you're just like, yeah, but I can't. No. We're going to do this. And you're just like, okay, all right, let's go. And she has this effect that pulls me out of it. And I think it's just the beauty of a relationship. Like it's two people being able to work together through their junk and love each other through it. And it makes each other a better person.
It's kind of like when when she's like, hey, those humans you've been waiting for are here. And he's like, no. And she's like, yeah, we are. And actually dinner's in 2 hours. So get up and do it.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah.
I'm there for.
Yeah. And she says, well, since no Minbari lies except to save one another, because we do now that they lie. So we got to put this little tag on it, right, to actually make it work. She's like, if you don't do this, then it's going to make me lose respect in the eyes of whoever. So you're going to have to do this anyway.
Yeah.
Once again, I felt like I was watching Emily Gilmore talk to Richard.
Now I'm going to go, because we know that there is some cross pollination between Gilmore Girls and Babylon 5 film crew. So I wonder if there's some other places.
Wait, what?
So, dude, remember? So I don't remember the episode, but there was the episode where Lanier was like sitting waiting for a transport, and he was sitting next to a guy who was just being really brash and whatever.
Sure. He's the special effects or stunt coordinator or something like that on the show.
There's a ton of cinematography and the stunt stuff.
Yeah.
He also did some cinematography for Gilmore Girls.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
pretty sure it was that guy. Like, so, because when you brought the Gilmore Girls, I'm like, that's your first reference. It's not my first reference.
Interesting.
On this show.
Okay. All right.
So I thought that was cool. But on that, when she says that, right, dinner's in 2 hours, get up. She said in 2 standard hours, which is a sci-fi thing, right? Everyone's, in 2. Where are the non-standard hours? Like what? In 3 Earth days, in 4 standard hours.
But wouldn't her standard hours be standard to her and not to like, well, what is it? Like, okay, do you remember that episode, Now for a Word?
Yes.
The where the news lady comes on.
There's Cynthia Torkman. Yeah.
Okay, cool. One of my favorite moments of that episode, it was the clip show that's not a clip show, and there was going to go like 50 new comments. It wasn't a clip show.
Yeah, because it was not
because it wasn't a clip show.
What he said.
You're right. It wasn't. That's literally what I just said. It's not a clip show. It's a clip show without being a clip show. Anyway, but there's a part where she's hanging outside of the alien sector. And she has this great line that's just stuck out in my brain all this time. She says, this is the part that we refer to as an alien sector. And here comes an alien walking through. And she goes, of course, to the people on the other side of that, they call this part the alien sector.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fun.
Fair enough. So they do their work and they're looking at stuff and they find the pattern. They find the pattern in the illogical attacks that are happening.
Yeah.
And they're blocking out this little space. So they have a target.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is that next episode? Are we catching up with that? Because we didn't do anything with it today.
Well, we'll find out later. But they did do a thing, though. I don't know if this will be anything, but it just seemed like a big over response if it's not followed up on. But they were talking about the strategy, right? Okay. And so Sheridan was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense, right? Let's corral the refugees into this one area, and then we blast them, and it just terrorizes everyone. Now they're afraid. It just sets them up horribly. And he's like, that's great strategy. That's what I would do. And then Delenn loses her Minbari mind when he's like, you have to think like the enemy. And she's like, you do not think like the shadows. You do not. And she grabbed him and pulled him out of the war room. And that was it. Whoops. And that was it. Like that was the end of the back and forth. But I was like, oh, there's something here. Something about thinking like them. There's the seed for this episode.
Yeah, Sheridan was pretty much putting his foot in his mouth in that moment.
I don't think so. He was right. Like, he's right.
Yeah. This is how I would have killed your people. I would have done all of this and backed your people into it, and that's what I was gonna do.
That's what he kind of did. Actually, too.
Yeah. I didn't handle that one the right way. I forgot who I was talking to for a minute.
But he wasn't wrong.
No, he wasn't. But it wasn't the right way to say it.
True.
You know. So
they fly off. We see all the new white stars in what I'm going to call the most epic moment of CGI cut and paste, copy and paste that will exist until the first season of Picard. Hey, look, there's just one Starfleet ship now, apparently, right. And there's 1,000 of them here.
Right, right. So there's I mean, like, I feel like I should be more bowled over by this moment. Like, there's a whole fleet. Yeah, we're going to go kick some butt. And I'm like, cool.
Let me walk you through my
thinking. I feel
thinking.
overwhelmed or underwhelmed by that moment.
Yeah. And I think we were set up to feel underwhelmed. And so, because if you track this episode, there's that moment where they find the shadow thing and they've got a target.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, the Sheridan Delenn stuff was them exploring their relationship, and kind of expressing it in different ways and growing. She even, when she's like, come on the White Star, I want to show you something. It wasn't, hey, we've got a great new tool in this war, I need to show you. It's like, I found a new place we can go park because we're basically in high school right now, the way we're acting around each other, which is sweet and cool and all that great stuff. So we're almost set up. Even like on the White Star, he's like, I don't know where we're going. She's like, you're gonna see. Like it's some romantic gift. And then it's like, oh, hundreds of massive death machines to go and take the shadows out. And so we were kind of led down one way. It took us a different place. And then they wrap us right back into the romance thing with the big first, second kiss. On your, because I've been watching the iTunes version of this. Did it, when they did the kiss, did it go to a weird camera angle and stuff? Like the lighting got weird and stuff at all or whatever for you? Like,
no, honestly, Jeff, I think you're making too much out of the whole kiss, first kiss, second kiss thing. I really do.
It bothers me. It bothers me.
Yeah.
It's the romantic inside.
I guess something. I don't know.
But they did something with the camera that was weird. And it's almost like, oh, this is romantic. Let's do the whole Vaseline on the lens thing or whatever. But it wasn't, it was surreal and it was off-putting in the whole, like, dude, they got White Stars. They got thousands of them or hundreds or tens, whatever. Like they got a bunch of them.
Yeah. Here's the thing. And this is just where I am on the whole deal. I am ready for Delenn and John to just be a couple.
Yeah.
Like just actually physically just be a couple. And I don't mean that I need to see them waking up in bed together. They can hold hands, they can kiss, they can go out on dates. They can have these little interactions like what we saw with the, hey, dinner's in 2 hours and you're going to be there, but I don't care. You're going to be there for me. Like, those are the kind of interactions, and whatever this looks like with how it's going to lead to David and what this looks like with the one who is versus the one who will be and all this sort of stuff, I'm ready for them to just be a good, solid couple. And the thing is we know that couples can be done well in sci-fi. And we've seen good couples in sci-fi, a la Tom Paris, B'Elanna Torres. You might even say Worf and Jadzia. The two guys from Discovery, what are their names? I'm blanking on them. Wilson Cruz and Colbert. And Anthony Rapp. Yeah. Stamets and Colbert. We've seen good, hey, that's a solid, they're together kind of a couple. We've also seen really bad couples. Like
Keiko and O'Brien.
Right? Keiko and O'Brien, Kira and everyone she was ever with, including Odo.
Yeah.
You know what relationship I really wanted to see from Kira? And it's so meta and it seems weird, but it just seems like it would have worked. I wanted to see mirror Nerys and Real World Nerys. Because I think
it almost happened.
That kind of as a couple would have been like, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Like it's a little Loki going in on it kind of a deal. So,
well, it's a total Star Trek 5, right? When the shapeshifter Amon, whatever Amon played is just like, I was kissing myself. Oh, it must have been your lifelong ambition.
Jeff, I'm pretty sure we just blew every remaining Star Trek reference we have for this episode.
That was all one reference.
I don't know. That was about 4 references shoved into one.
Yikes. And that one. So I have a cool observation about G'Kar as we transition to some of the.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm waiting to get to this whole Londo G'Kar thing. So
G'Kar putting things ahead a little bit. There's just a scene I adored, and it was when G'Kar went to Garibaldi, and he's like, "I need you to smuggle something to Narn Homeworld for me." And Garibaldi's like, "Fine. How big is it? About this high, this wide." on himself. He just had like this spring in his step when he said it that I'm just like, it was great. I like them together a lot.
I still look, okay. But you know what is always best is Londo and G'Kar.
Totally.
And for as much as people have made about Londo and G'Kar, and a while back, Peter Jurasik did an interview with our friends over at Gray 17 podcast, and I listened to the first half, the non-spoiler filled half, and he just gushed about his relationship with Katsoulis.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sitting here going, you guys did stuff in the first season, and frankly, we haven't seen you guys really together at all in season 2 or 3, with saw him in very few exceptions.
Convictions and Dust to Dust, and neither of those were good for them.
Right. So
I mean, it was great. They were great scenes.
So,
right, but not good yet.
I'm thinking something has to happen here in season 4, because this can't be hey, this is just how it ends up in the last like 3 episodes of season 5. Like, there's got to be some time where Londo and G'Kar are buddy again, or at least they're in, maybe not buddy, but they're in many scenes together, you know, and they bounce off each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, Jeff, and this might be jumping to the end a little bit of the whole thing, but we've said before, and I'll say it again, I don't know that there is such a thing as redemption for Londo Mollari at this point for everything he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He can try to go for redemption by freeing future Delenn and Sheridan and letting them go, but I don't know that that's actually full on redemption. But I will say this, like, something happened in a conversation between Londo and G'Kar to make this happen, because Londo's fudging a few of these facts here. You know, like I know Rifa was mostly behind a lot of this, but Londo really was too. But he's fudging some of these facts, but he somehow got to G'Kar to set up this entire plan without Veer knowing. And I can't say that this is anything about the redemption of Londo and Mollari, but it feels like this might be the beginning of some reconciliation between Londo and G'Kar. And I'm for some reconciliation between Londo and G'Kar, because I want those two characters together.
The thing I can't get past is that in Dust to Dust, G'Kar saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he knows the truth. So there's the scene that happened before Veer and Londo sat down to dinner that we didn't get to see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one where somehow they connected. I don't know how Londo presented it, you know, but hey, here's all this evidence that Reef is your bad guy. This is all Reef's fault. Gonna let you kill him. It's all cool. But G'Kar knows otherwise. Like, he knows part of the truth.
G'Kar knows that Londo was the guy who sicked the shadows on them. But I think if G'Kar really was in Londo's head, he also sees what we also saw with Londo. When Londo went, oh shoot, I didn't mean that. Crap, I didn't mean to go that far. And also saw Rifa continually pushing it down further and further and further. And Londo kind of getting swept along with it. That's not an excuse. That does not absolve him of it. But there is a difference between how Londo has come in and approached. And what did Londo do? He also went, and was this before or after the whole elevator or the whole dust thing? He went to Morden and said, we're done. I'm not doing this anymore.
So that was before.
Yeah.
So he would have seen that.
So
what he didn't see is when he went to Rifa and told him, you need to be done. Like, when he, went further. But I think he also, there's a whole piece where Londo's motivation in this was not to save 2,000 Narn.
Right.
It was, I don't believe it was to reconcile with G'Kar. It was to wipe the board of his competition and take anything that could be laid at his feet and give it to Rifa. So in the eyes of Centauri, Londo's just a dutiful Centauri citizen, doing his job as an ambassador. Put it all under. So I mean, it was totally self-directed, self-preservation for him, and just prove. I mean, we've seen him kill before and be responsible for killing. Right here, like the way he handed Rifa to the Narns was, dude, that was cold. That was dark. And what he did to Veer.
Okay, let's talk about that. Because I have less of a problem with it than I think I should.
Really?
Yeah. So what's your take on what he did to Veer? Specifically, we'll just say he completely lied to Veer and quote unquote used him. But in order to accomplish what they were trying to accomplish, he had to.
Yeah. I mean, at a level, what he didn't have to do was lord over Veer and talk in detail about how he was going to murder every member of his family in front of the royal court. Like,
but Veer,
I don't think,
but Veer was about to chicken out. Like Veer was about to say no, and Londo needed him to go do this.
On a scale of 1 to 10, right? Veer might have needed a 6 to get going. He hit him with an 11. Like he went too. And if I'm Veer, I'm not going to sit back and logically say, oh, you're right. They were going to have a telepath come at me, so you needed to set things up right. That's fine. What I'm going to say is, I've seen you do this stuff to people.
Yeah.
And you just told me you're going to do it to my family. What am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah. Yeah. But also, if he came in any softer, Veer would be like, wait, that's not what Londo does. And he'd have been clued into something. Like,
I feel like this
Londo
season
had to go hardcore after him because he had to have those thoughts. He had to have Veer, like, I mean, this is Inception. He literally had to have Veer thinking all of the worst to sell it, not to Veer, to sell it to Rifa.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Veer is the pawn in the middle of that. But there's a piece of me where I'm also like, but Veer and Londo have a bank account with each other. Mm-hmm. And Londo is drawing heavily on that bank account. But I will say this, based on Veer's response at the end, I think Londo overdrew his account.
Agreed.
Because whether or not I think it was good or not, or I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying I understand. And I don't hold him as hard to it as I think you and Veer do. But I think Londo overdrew that account. And I've got to wonder if going forward, if this is not the rift between Londo and Veer. And I just want to point to the War Without End, when we got to the future and we saw the scene where Londo and G'Kar kill each other. And there's the Emperor's crest on the floor, and Veer walks out and he bends over and he picks it up. And Veer had this look and this attitude about him that we've not seen before. Veer was like, finally, this is like, not finally I'm the Emperor, but you're dead. And you're like, this is you're done to me. And this is over. Like he had a look on him that was new to us. And I wonder if this is what leads to that.
Maybe. What I kind of hope is, we talked back in Seek Transit Veer, how I felt like he took some steps back in his growth as a character.
That Veer did?
Veer did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that this was a further step in that direction, but for the point of bouncing back, right? So now he knows what's up.
Right.
He knows that the Centauri culture as a whole and the facts that it propagates are racist and bigoted and terrible and hateful. And he knows that Londo's capable of murdering his family and is going to lord the aid he gave to the Narns. This is all fact to Londo now.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think we'll see in season 4, we'll start to see what we thought we were getting to see in season 3 from Veer, and see him really start growing and stepping out on his own more. That's what I hope happens from this. If it doesn't, I have a hard time taking Veer seriously from here.
Yeah. I'm with you. I hear everything you're saying about that. Like,
but on another point, was we're talking about the sidekicks and where they go. I think that since the end of the first season, this episode was the best use of Natoth since then.
Yeah.
She's just gonna there you go.
Honestly, this might be the best use of Natoth since Deathwalker.
Yeah.
And we loved some Natoth after Deathwalker, but this might be the best use of her.
That was peak Natoth.
Yeah.
They said a thing you mentioned in the recap how they were talking like, so the minister and Rifa come on board and they're kind of talking trash about the humans and Earth and Babylon 5.
Mm-hmm.
Minister said that Babylon 5 reached out wanting to be recognized by the Centauri Republic. I found that very interesting.
You know what? I think I missed that line, but I got it at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, that is interesting. Like, I think I might have heard it. It just didn't hit me what that meant until you just said that. Like,
because when they seceded, it was very much, we're seceding. We don't need Earth anymore. We're an independent state. We're ourselves. And then they went to the League, a couple episodes later with the New Babylon Treaty, basically this. And I assumed that was going to be with the League worlds and whatever. I never imagined they were going to make overtures to Centauri. Did they do the same with Minbar?
Mm-hmm.
With the Vorlons? Did they, hey, will you recognize us as an independent state? Also some incredible writing. And there's a lot of incredible writing in this episode, but one piece, they're on the Narn homeworld and all the broken buildings, and it's desolate. And inside one of them, you go in, and it's quite opulent. In fact, it looks exactly like the throne room set from Centauri Prime, which they just outright say. They're like, we made this look exactly like the throne room in Centauri Prime so the Emperor will be more comfortable. I was like, good for you. Don't make it a different set and just own it.
Drop a line in there, hang a lantern on it. Let's move on.
Boom.
Right?
Move on. You want to talk about the setup, just through the setup for Rifa and kind of where that went?
I mean, I feel like we already have. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I loved being able to go back and track it. And I mean,
leave the face and the head. The rest is for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And G'Kar just doing that so surgically too. Like we have to have this for identification. We're going to make sure this goes, like he opens up his jacket, sticks it in his pocket and closes his jacket and like taps his chest a little bit. And he's like, make sure that that's found on the body. Go. Which tells me G'Kar is 100% complicit in this scheme of Londo's.
Yeah.
And he's going to hold Rifa accountable for all the destruction that's happened on Narn and to however many millions of Narn that have died in the course of this whole deal. Again, I don't think it absolves Londo, but
there's a lot there. I wonder too, as we're talking, like, was there another deal? So Londo's going to go make sure 2,000 Narns get released. Was there something Londo's giving up for G'Kar that kind of gives him a little like, okay, I'm going to trust you on this? Because given their history, G'Kar in the back of his mind has to think, okay, so I'm helping Londo set up Rifa, but at the same time, is Londo still setting me up? Because that'd be very on brand for him.
But why does he want to do this to Rifa? Why would Londo ever want to do this to Rifa? Like, this is for one of two reasons. To promote Londo in the royal court and help his own status, which why would G'Kar ever help Londo do that? Yeah. He wouldn't. But also because Londo is seeking revenge over the murder of Adira?
Mm-hmm.
Of Adira. And again, I don't know that G'Kar would care too much about Londo's personal feelings for this one girl. But hey,
I could see G'Kar telling him, good.
Yeah.
You killed all my people.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this happened to you.
Yeah. You need to feel this. But to be able to say, I'll give you someone that you can hold 100% accountable, who, let's face it, Londo wasn't wrong about Rifa's involvement. He might have been overstating the sole responsibility nature of it. It seemed like, but he wasn't wrong about Rifa. Rifa really pushed this ball down the court a lot. And frankly, Londo probably wouldn't have done what he did without Rifa setting the stage even before the whole Morden and Shadows thing of saying, hey, we could put you on the throne, Londo, or we could get you in here. We can, because Londo was going down really a healthy route.
Yeah.
Up to that moment, right? So, but what this shows us though is Londo is vicious. And like Lena Headey, the person who commented us, wrote us a review, he really knows how to play the Game of Thrones.
He does. Yeah.
Right?
He gets it. And then we get that incredible scene, right, where they got the gospel singing going, and just everything that singer is saying is happening in real time with the beat down. A thing I observed in that, though, so all the Narns, I mean, they're going, like, he runs, Reefa runs, you know, and it was dark. It was so dark. But G'Kar never laid his hands on Reefa.
No,
G'Kar stood back.
Yeah.
He watched. There's something to that. Like, I thought about it in terms just with the music that was playing and knowing they're singing from a passage of Revelation. I was like, what we're seeing here is we're seeing the power of justice. You cannot hide from the justice of God through the hand of the archangel G'Kar. You know, it's just
You know what I took out of that? And this kind of goes in the face of what I was saying earlier, but G'Kar knows that he knows about Londo's involvement in this whole thing. And while the rest of the Narn may be going after Reefa, who legitimately deserved what he got, had a gnarly death, G'Kar is saving his hands for Londo.
Yeah.
Because that one's still coming. And that's what I got out of that was G'Kar's not going to sully his hands with this guy. He's saving them for this other one. And in this case, that's Londo.
So my last thought on this stuff wasn't Morden going to kill Reefa? Like, wasn't that the whole reason Londo threw his stuff in? He told Morden he wants Reefa and all of his people gone. Oh my gosh. So at first I was just like, what? Londo was, why wasn't Morden going to do this? But maybe it was Morden who set up the deal with, maybe it wasn't Londo that did it. Maybe it was Morden through someone with G'Kar. And he still did.
It would make sense to me that there was an intermediary that went between Londo and G'Kar rather than the two of them sitting down having dinner together and discussing this plan. And it needed to be somebody that was out of the eye and ears of Veer.
Yeah.
So,
but here's my thing. One of the thing we've alluded to, but we haven't tracked maybe as much as we could. Londo's got 3 chances, right, to avoid the worst case scenario. Majel Barrett told us about that.
Yep.
Londo had already poisoned Reefa for this. Is Reefa the one that was already dead? And he killed him?
To not kill the one who is already dead. That is possible. That is possible. I think I said back then, I think it's actually probably G'Kar, and it might actually still be G'Kar, but it could be Reefa. Like, if we came down to the end of it, like, hey, you burned one of these because you killed the guy who was already dead, and that was Reefa, I bet, that's not who I saw it, but I can understand why it would be him.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe that was the one. One down. You got 2 more chances.
Well, Jeff, I think we have come to that part of the episode where it is time to boil this whole thing down and see if this show has any of that Star Trek quality to it. Is there a deep moral message? Is it holding up a mirror to society? Is it giving us hope that things that could be better in the future? Is it trying to tell us how we should better interact with our fellow man, how to be better human beings? To do that and have that part of the discussion, I'm going to rate this episode on a scale of 0 to 5 deltas as far as how Star Trek, quote unquote, this episode is. And Jeff, you're going to rate the scale on a 0. And Jeff, you're going to rate this episode on a scale of 0 to 5 Starfuries as to how much we enjoyed it and how Babylon 5 this show is. I want to go first, talking about deltas. Everything to me in this episode that revolves around the Star Trek message, the how do you be a better human, comes from Pastor Dexter in this episode. he says to him at the beginning when they're in their little meeting talking about the news, he says, I would rather do something and make a mistake than be frightened into doing nothing, which is a beautiful line. There is a phrase that I use a lot in my leadership circles, and this is something that I think defines me as a person, at least the way that I tend to operate. And it's this: I will err with a bias towards action. Meaning, if there's a choice of whether or not to do something or not do something, I would much rather make the mistake in doing something than have the mistake being not doing anything. You know, so if I don't know what to do, I'm not, instead of just being frozen, I'm going to make a choice and understand it could be the wrong one. And I'm okay with that being the wrong choice. It's better than just sitting there not doing anything to me. And he writes that in there. And that's how you move forward, because if you just sit being frightened, you're not able to do anything. He also says this. He said, folks have been conned into believing that they can't change the world, but the world is changing every day. So the question is, who's doing the changing? Couple that with what I just said. Folks have been conned into believing they can't change the world, to not do anything. But the fact is, the world is changing every day. So who is the one changing? You might as well be the one out there doing it. You might as well be the one out there making a difference. And you might not get it right every time. You might make a mistake, but that's better than just sitting around letting things change around you and being a victim to what's happening. Because the truth is, and this works for our world and our context right now, Jeff, things out there in the world are changing. Who is doing the change? Who's changing it? And are you a part of that? And Jeff, I hope that at least in some small way, what we do through this podcast, I know what you do through Starfleet Leadership Academy, what I've been able to accomplish through Beam Me Up and Pewtercast and a few of those other places, plus whatever other outlets we have that have nothing to do with podcasting, that those are us actively participating in changing the world, not just letting the world change around us. So I had that one. Nothing is going to be easy. At least nothing ever worthwhile is easy, which I thought was amazing. Veer never breaking in his loyalty to Londo when he's got the light shining in his face was definitely something we could talk about. Londo coming to rescue Veer in those moments. But when it comes down to it, again, it's back to Pastor Dexter. And we go to the thing where they're intercutting the service, the worship service, with what's happening with Rifa in the cave. And Rifa comes in and he's got G'Kar. And here's Rifa so superior, thinks he's going to be something. And it flashes to Reverend Dexter and he says, who's the real enemy? Is it the alien? Is it the one who's different? No, he says the enemy is fear. The enemy is hate. That you must hate that which is different. And he says that's the enemy, that fear, that hate, because in the end, that hate is going to turn on you and destroy you. And then we cut to Rifa. And here's Rifa, this hatred he has been spewing upon the Narn as a people group is about to turn on him. He tells the guards to move, but they don't. G'Kar has the hollow message from Londo that this has all been a setup. And Londo says, hey, Rifa, your constant mismanagement has weakened the Centauri. Your hatred of them has made us weaker. And he's also really pissed Londo off as well. You've made me mad in the middle of that. And so he's about to get what's going to be done to him by the Narn. Those aliens, by the way, which are different from him, that he hates. This is a mirror of where we are right now, at least in this country. And as I read international reports, we're seeing it all over the world too. This idea that we are hating these other people, that we're hating them because they're different. And the truth is, honestly, we're more alike than we are different. But I'm going to hate that person because of the color of their skin. I'm going to hate that person because of their political view. I'm going to hate this person because of who they voted for. I'm going to hate that person because of where they live. I'm going to hate that person because of their gender and how they choose to live their life. I'm going to hate that person because of whom they love or who loves them back. And that hate is going to turn on you and destroy you. And then you get to obviously to the song. The sinner is going to be running at the knowledge of their fate. The rock cries out, there's no hiding place. And Rifa's running and dying. It was an amazing look at, I think, exactly what leads to the thing that destroys you. And I will say this to my fellow countrymen here in America, and I will say this to my fellow humans around the world. We have to end hate. That is the enemy. Because when we hate each other, that is the thing that will destroy us by the end of this whole deal. This is what makes the Star Trek vision, the Gene Roddenberry vision of the future so compelling, that we on Earth have gotten over that. Now, not everybody out there has. And I know Babylon 5 doesn't, Babylon 5 is not, hey, we're already there. It's kind of how we get there. I get that. But that's what makes that destination a worthwhile goal, is to get past that part where we can live in harmony and we can live in unity. And by the way, that's what becomes so attractive. Okay. And I know we're not, this is the Star Trek piece, right? Like, that's why the Federation got so big, not through conquest. People looked over there and said, I want to be a part of that. That looks really cool. Let's fold into that idea. It grew by willing addition, not conquering the way that the empires did. You know, that kind of basically love is attractive. When you live in love, that is attractive, and other people want that. Getting rid of the hate. You know where it starts, Jeff? And I'll end here. It starts with stopping grouping people together and stripping them of their humanity. Oh, the Narn. No. That's G'Kar, and that's Jaquad, and that's Jaman, and that's Jamama, and that's whatever. Like, those are people. Those are individuals, not everybody who is of this racial ethnicity, everyone who's of this gender, everyone who is of this, political party and affiliation. When you group them together, it's easy to hate them because they lose their individualism and their humanity. Give them their humanity and love, because that is what attractive, and that's what'll save you. Otherwise, you're going to destroy yourself. Jeff, this one is right smack in your face. This is what this episode came to be about, right? Like at the end, like a lot of times we talk about like, hey, the episode was really about some other stuff, but here's some things we pulled out of it. No, this is what this episode was about. Rifa getting his comeuppance, and here's why he got that comeuppance. Jeff, I'm having a hard time not giving this 5 Starfuries. I don't know that it gets 5 Starfuries, deltas. I don't know that it gives 5, but I'm going to give this one like 4.5 deltas straight out. And I really easily could be convinced to go to 5, but I'm going to give it 4.5.
You said incredible things in your recap, and I was really moved by the concept of hate in and of itself, and how even people who sit in righteous positions, who believe that they are a person-oriented person that loves all and understands that hate is bad, can still spew hate. And I think about this and what we see and what runs, and I'll speak to the United States. I don't think this is different in other countries, but I haven't experienced it. But I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. When someone on the other side of you does a thing that you don't agree with, it seems like it's okay to make fun of them, how they look, how they sound, how they dress. It seems like it's okay to wish that they die. And that's not okay, right? It does not discriminate, right? It doesn't matter where you land on the political spectrum. It doesn't matter what color your skin, your anything. Hate's pretty universal. I talk a lot on this podcast about my faith and being a Catholic, and I truly believe that Catholicism is a religion and a faith of love and acceptance. And I know that hundreds of you just got activated by me saying that. But when you read the actual catechism and what the church and the faith teaches, it is wildly accepting. It's the people that come in and are then put into positions of power that either explicitly or implicitly exude hate in how they interpret that word and put it forward. We talk in the United States about the Bible Belt, right? We experience things in these states that are supposedly Christian states or whatever that have all these hateful policies and things. There is not a religion. There is not a major religion today that espouses hate. Not Christian, not Jewish, not Islamic, none, not Hindu, not Baha'i, none of them.
Yep.
They're not hateful. It is the people that come in and make those things happen. In this episode, this is what we saw. We saw hate personified. We saw hate personified in Rifa. We saw hate personified in Londo. We saw it personified in G'Kar and the Narns, who ripped a living being apart limb from limb. But we also saw love, right? We saw the love that the religious leaders had for each other. It was expressed, right, in joking with each other and little jabs and things like that. We saw the love between Delenn and Sheridan. And even though, like, I'm gonna rip up, it's like, I don't like some of the ways that it happened. Who cares? It's not my relationship. I'm not the one that's doing the love, right? So it's cool, but they love each other and they're doing absolutely incredible things. As a side note, I fully endorse, understand, and think the name of this episode is great. They could have subtitled it "The Assassination of Brother Theo," but that's just an aside. Brent, we've talked quite a few times now on this podcast about there are incredible Star Trek messages that shine through all sci-fi, right? And we say Star Trek message, we mean these moral messages that you, Brent, myself, put a label of Star Trek on because of our experience. But it's not Star Trek. This isn't just Star Trek. This is how to be a good human 101 kind of stuff, or maybe 301. I don't know. It seems to be more advanced than it should be. People should understand these things, but here we are. But what Babylon 5 does is it takes those messages and it delivers it in ways that no one else is delivering it. You know, I mean, let's tell you that you can't run away from justice while singing an old gospel hymn and like with rousing passion and excitement while we watch a horrifying and brutal and maybe earned murder that's happening. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's wild. So I'm going to pull a play from your book.
Oh, yeah?
I think 4.5 Starfuries or 4.5 Deltas. I think it's fair. I could definitely see 5. This episode had some stuff in it that we can't necessarily articulate, that we're kind of in its execution a little bit.
Sure.
So I'm not going to give it 5. I'm going to give it 4.5 Delta Furies.
Nice.
Because this had an incredible message that was delivered in a complete Babylon 5 way and was just, I mean, it was really powerfully done.
I like it. Anytime we pull Delta Furies in, when like that is the gold and the gold.
Yeah.
When Babylon 5 does the awesome sci-fi thing, because sci-fi is a medium that you can discuss these issues with that you can't do in your procedural courtroom dramas on
Gilmore
TV.
Girls. You're not doing this in,
Exactly. Gilmore Girls can face other conversations, but it's not going to have this. It's not going to have the same weight as what these have. Yeah. It's not going to do what sitcoms can do that have done so effectively. I think of episodes of Golden Girls and Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and those sorts of episodes. But when it does the sci-fi thing that we label as Star Trek in a way that only Babylon 5 can do, that's the goal. That's awesome. And I love that. I love the Star, the Delta Fury. Well, with that, Jeff, you know, we've had I don't know that I call this a game as much as this is just a thing we now do. We are creating the absolute 100% completely accurate and definitive ranking of the third season of Babylon 5. And Jeff, this week it falls to you, my friend. Where are we going to place? And The Rock cried out, no hiding place. You have 19 other episodes to figure out where to slot this into. By the way, the current top 5 is War Without End Part 1. I'm sorry, War Without End Part 2. Number 2 is War Within Part 1. Severed Dreams, Point of No Return, and Ship of Tears. That's just your top 5. Where are we placing this one?
Season 3 has been so strong. Like it's like there are not when we look at the list, like the lower ranked episodes, a lot of them are they're top 10 in season 1 or season 2, if not top, arguments for top. Well, I don't know about top 5 in season 2. Season 2 had a great top half.
Yeah. It's just a really weak bottom half.
Yeah, very. Season 3 has been pretty darn solid through and through.
Yeah.
When I look at these, it's funny how when I look at this, Passing Through Gethsemane is such a watermark for me. And I think it was just such a unique episode and it set such a theme for this. But this was more than that. It was more than interludes and examinations, which was also great. Wow. I always struggle with this, right?
I mostly struggle just trying to remember what happened in each episode by this one title.
I know. Sometimes it gets hard, right? Especially now. Like I remember back like early in the second season, people are like, "Oh my gosh, Jeff, you remember all the things?" I'm like, "Yeah, we've seen 25 episodes.
Yeah,
like,
that's easy,
it.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
This is like what, our 64th or 65th?
Yeah, they're starting to meld together, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. So to me right now, I'm like, am I going to make this number 6? Over Messages of Earth, or am I going to make this number 7 over Interludes and Examinations? And Brent, I'm just such a sucker for that whole Messages from Earth and Point of No Return, Severed Dreams trilogy. It hurt me when we put Ship of Tears in there, even though it belongs there. It's the right place, but breaking that up. I'm going to make this our new number 7. I'm going to put it right above Interludes and Examinations.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, and I'm not really allowed to. I might have pushed it down 1 or 2 spots. This would have been well over Gray 17 is Missing to me. Mm-hmm. Would it have been over Passing Through Gethsemane? Like this is one, it's in that middle section right here of Rock Cried Out, Interludes and Examinations, and Passing Through Gethsemane. Take those 3 episodes, write them on a piece of paper, throw those pieces of paper in a bag, shuffle it up and reach in and grab one. That's kind of where you are on this one to me right now. So
I think so too.
I'm with you on that.
Well, if you don't agree with us, that's okay. You don't have to, but you can express that you don't agree with us when you write your review of us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Good Pods, Audible, all those places to enter into our drawing that's coming up in just 3 episodes, Brent. We've got 2 more regular season episodes, and then in our season 3 wrap up, we're going to go through the reviews that we've gotten. So right now, pause the video, pause the replay in your podcatcher app, and go leave that review. Brent's showing it on the YouTube right now.
Look at this. This is the backside. Look at that detail in the back of the cockpit area right there.
That fusion engine right there.
I know, right? Like, man, get this to NASA. They should be able to do something with this.
Seriously, even with that design, they can reverse engineer that into an actual Starfury.
Right?
It's that good.
Right? Just use the name Starfury, and it's all good.
And that can be yours if you review us, and then we're going to do a drawing. And we're not going to give away just 1. We're going to give away 2. So more than 1 chance. Get it in. And on our season 3 wrap up, we'll be giving it away. And I think it's important because as of this moment now, we're done. That is it for And the Rock Cried Out, No Hiding Place. Next week, we're watching Shadow Dancing for the first time.
Really?
Shadow Dancing, Shadow Dance. We've never seen these episodes before. We
don't
look ahead.
I'm sorry. Please tell me Kevin Bacon's in this episode. Please tell me, or Patrick Swayze. I'll take him too.
I'll lose my mind. It's so amazing. Brent, we don't know anything about this. We know the title, other than guessing that this is gonna have an all-star cast. What do you think Shadow Dancing is gonna be about?
I mean, we're at that spot of the series. Obviously, this has to do with the shadows. You don't invoke that name without it having to do with the shadows, right?
Unless it's Geometry of Shadows or Coming of Shadows or any other times they've invoked the name Shadows.
Not
and
at
actually
this
had
point.
nothing to do
You know
with
what?
the shadows.
I take back what I said because you're 100% right. But I'm still going to say this has something to do with the shadows. I think the war with the new White Star fleet that they have and the telepath thing, they're out there trying it out, and I think it's going well for the humans. And they've made some strides. I'm not saying that they've got the shadows back on their heels or anything yet, but they're making a lot of noise. They're making a dent in the whole thing. And the shadows have to shift their tactics. That's the dancing thing. They're going to shift their tactics to become a tide turner. Because let me tell you where we are right now on the show. Okay. This is the spot where everything has to go wrong. And like we've got to get everybody into the worst spot that you could be. This is Han Solo going into the carbonite.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke losing his arm and everything that just happened. You know what I mean? This is Dumbledore falling off the tower and you've just lost the only protection that you really had. This is you get to that moment. You know what I mean? And this is, narratively speaking, where I'm guessing we're going. So things are going to go, I think are going to start well, but we're going to end up in a probably not great spot for Babylon 5.
I like that. I struggle with this one a little bit because I think they're going to take a good chunk of time in the next episode on building their fleet, right? Like they got the White Stars.
Yeah.
Is that enough? You know, they're going to pull in the League Worlds. You know, we saw G'Kar ride in with the cavalry a while ago. So it's like organizing all of that and getting it ready.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, I believe also things are going to start moving south. And so it's going to be during the build up that something kind of goes wrong and sets up what will then lead to the big fight that will be the season finale. Like this is going to be a build. Oh no. And then we're going to, not cliffhanger necessarily, but like we're going to, oh no, into the finale. But I think a huge part actually of this story is going to lean on the telepaths that are out kind of, you know, destroying the shadow ships. That's where things go south for the shadows, is they're not prepared for telepaths at this scale. But I think the real story in it is actually going to be Ivanova exploring something in her role as a latent telepath. I don't know if it's going to be feelings of inadequacy, seeing what others can do and her not being able to pull it out, or the exact opposite, where actually she's going to tap into something where her latent telepathy is actually the exact telepathy that makes a big difference for the shadows. But this is going to ultimately, I think this is going to plant a seed in her character that will become a big part of her arc in the 4th season.
I haven't thought about Ivanova as a latent telepath a whole lot.
It hasn't been brought up.
Is it possible for her telepathic abilities to bloom and not be latent anymore at this age in her life?
We saw that happen with Talia. I mean, Jason Ironheart helped pushed it along, but she went from being like a P5 to all of a sudden being a teak. Telekinesis.
Yeah.
And be much stronger for things. But I mean, she was maybe it is an Ironheart or some sort of ascended somebody that gives her a nudge.
So Talia got dissected, and Ghost Talia, Energy Talia, comes back and does something right, and she and Ivanova have an affair.
Yep.
But Ivanova absorbs everything that Talia had, all of that energy now combined with her latent telepathic abilities, and Ivanova becomes like a P50.
Right? carries on the Talia storyline that the actress messed up, that JMS was like, you're out of here. Oh, we'll just plop that onto Ivanova and make her even cooler.
I like it.
Should work out. And we're going to find out right here next week. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, please like, follow us, subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. And like I said, get your review in. We're going to do a drawing here in just a couple of weeks for those cool Starfuries. So go get that in as soon as you can. So, hey, until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, Brent?
Okay, so seriously, stop me if you've heard this one before.
Okay, all right, here we go. This will be good.
A priest, a rabbi, and a minister were all in a boat in the middle of a lake.
I know, Brent, the rocks. I got it, okay? All right, we got it. Peace, victory, long life.
It's my first time.
I cut you off early, quick, for a reason. Tell the joke. We got people sticking around. Give them the whole joke.
All right. This is a Club 65 exclusive right here. Welcome. You have now entered. We should have like a video promo. You have now entered Club 65. The club is open.
Although, I noticed back a while ago, YouTube chapterizes our videos.
Oh, yeah?
So if you're watching this, there's chapters in it. We didn't put those there.
Right. YouTube does that. Yeah. We don't.
Yeah. What we don't want is a Club 65 chapter.
Right. But if it happens, it happens. So whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, hey, however you folks find it out there. Anyway, here's the joke. So a priest, a rabbi, and a minister are all in a boat in the middle of a lake. And the priest says, I'm thirsty. I'm going to go get something to drink. So he stands up and he gets out of the boat and he walks across the water like Jesus himself. Gets a soda, walks back across the water, gets in the boat, sits down, and enjoys his drink. The minister says, I could go for one too. He gets up and just like the priest and just like Jesus, walks right across the water, grabs his drink, comes right back, sits down, enjoys his drink too, along with the priest. Well, the rabbi thinks that's really cool. He's not really that thirsty, but sure, why not? He could go for another drink as well. So he gets up, he gets out of the boat and right into the water. And he drowns. The priest and the minister look at each other and they go, think we should have told him where the rocks are?
Oh, wrong one.
Do you mean this one? Or this one?
We're incapable of using our buzzboard here. Just can't do it.
Well, I need the actual pad itself to have labeled on what the sound effect is.
So,
you see, I don't have that.
It came with the Roadcaster.
Not on mine.
Two of them, and it's funny because I don't know if you can see, but like I've had to scratch them out as I've kind of.
Well, that's the other thing is because they change. Oh, by the way, I have multiple banks.
Yeah,
I mean, I probably have 8 banks worth of sound effects on my thing over here. So
I haven't gone that far because you can't look at the board and know what bank you're on. You know what I mean? Like unless you remember your colors,
right?
I can't be trusted with that. So I have one bank. I stick to one bank and I change the things on that bank. That's it.
Yeah, I mean you can hit the little music button up there and then you can kind of go through and it'll tell you what's what there. But outside,
oh really?
Yeah.
Here, watch us play with our tools that you can't see
off camera, right?
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, you see that? It's got
the labels.
We're using a road. It's a podcasting tool called a Roadcaster Pro, folks. Jeff and I both have one. Completely not necessary if you want to start your own podcast, but completely helpful if you are at a spot where you could use it because it does a lot of cool stuff.
I started out with a Focusrite 2i2. Interface.
Yeah.
It's great.
And you just record it straight into your computer?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was $200, I think, or something like that for that. The Roadcaster, I think, is $400 or $500.
Mm-hmm.
They have a new one out now that I think is more expensive.
Yeah.
It does a lot more than what I need.
It was about $600 when I bought mine.
Okay.
So
yeah. I think I got mine literally, I don't know, weeks before the 2 came out.
Oh, really? So. Yeah, I think we're both probably on the first gen ones.
Yeah.
But when I was taking phone calls in from people and I had multiple people that I was trying to mix in together, the Roadcaster I used to have multiple computers going and multiple lines and I had a big soundboard that I was routing everything to and I had connector cables and everything flying over and all of it just smalled right down into the Roadcaster Pro. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so nice. So
yeah, I love it because I can do my voiceover work on this. I can do my percussion, my drumming stuff. I can do it all through this.
Yeah.
So it's super easy.
I can, well, so one of the pieces of advice that I always give to people is make it. If you want to go long-term in the podcasting game, you have to make editing as minimal as possible. And I say the biggest thing is you get a good recording. Stop trying to fix stuff in post. Stop trying to do stuff in post. Get it as a good, solid run all the way through. And one of the best ways you can do that is if you can actually, all of your music cues and music drops and anything that you're going to need, if you can have that beforehand and you literally record it into the flow of the show and just record the show, then you just have the file, throw it out and you're done. And that's the only way that I've been able to stay in the game, as long as I have and push out the amount of content. Jeff, I did the math not too terribly long ago. I am currently over 1,100 episodes of podcasting produced in my podcasting career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch that. I got hundreds, not double digit hundreds. Though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm over 1,100 episodes of podcasts produced. So
it's a lot of podcasts.
It's a lot of episodes that I've put out. A lot of episodes. Most of them nobody will ever go hear, and that's okay. Mostly because they were not evergreen. They were very timely to what was going on today, and they mean absolutely nothing now. So.
Yeah, most of what I've produced sit on some company's server somewhere that the world will never have access to, and I bet most of the salespeople that have access to it have probably never listened to it. But you know what? The check cashes every time I submit the recording.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I like it. All right, Jeff. It is very late for us.
Yeah, we're almost 2 hours.
Yeah. Who would have thought when you were watching this episode going, something's off about this episode, whatever, this is going to be a 2 hour long show.
I never would have guessed.
No, me either. Hey, we got 2 more episodes left of the season, and I want to go get through them as fast as we possibly can.
So deal.
Yeah.
Like we're going to do like a weight loss pact thing here, where when you're tempted, when I'm tempted to hit play after this one, we text each other instead and be like, I'm going to do it. And we talk each other off the ledge, because I don't see a reality where I don't just do, you know what I mean? Like,
no, here's what's going to happen is you and I are both going to get up out of these chairs, and I'm going to go down and try to go to sleep, but I'm going to roll over and I'm going to turn the next episode on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not even going to get up. I'm going to start. This
You're going to start it right now. Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to start.
So
over here.
I'm going to text you in the morning when I wake up, and I'm going to be like, hey, Jeff, let's just record early. We won't tell anyone out there. We'll just record early.
And then we can watch the next one.
And then we can do the next one and just record early. We'll just, we don't do this, Jeff. Like this is, we stay relatively synchronous unless we know something's coming up. So, that's the way I think these next 2 episodes are going to go down.
It's very tempting right now, but it's also very late, especially for you.
Yes.
So let's do this.
Yes. All right. Good night, guys. Thanks
Club
for joining
65.
us. Club 65.
You rock.
Get your gear. You guys are awesome. Bye.